Welcome back to Mindset Monday. This is the show where we get to go behind the scenes with Mr. Chris Slavin, eight-figure entrepreneur, real estate investor. And I can't release this publicly yet, but there's a very prestigious magazine. I can't give you the magazine title yet, but there's a very prestigious magazine that just named him a real estate influencer for this year. Tremendous stuff. Anyways, we get to go behind the scenes with Mr. Chris Slavin in just a minute. So buckle your seatbelts for this. We're going to have Bruce Buffer himself, bring him on up, and then stick around because he might even answer your question. Bruce, let's do it.
And now, this is the moment you've all been waiting for. Presenting the master of the real estate deal and entrepreneur champion of the world, Chris the Negotiator Levin.
Hi, I love that. It still makes me chuckle, and it makes me just absolutely laugh when my grandchildren see that and they think I'm some kind of celebrity. You guys gotta excuse me today. I'm struggling with COVID, and I'm here because that's how important this show is to me, to make sure that I'm here for you, just like you're here for me every week. So COVID, no COVID, I'm here. I'm just a little bit low energy because I'm just absolutely exhausted. But what I do want to tell you about is the shortcut that nobody tells you about today, right? There are no shortcuts to success, right? Well, you've heard this a million times, and in many cases it can be true. But I do know of one that most people don't use. And it's not a hack or a system or something you buy on the internet. It's so much simpler than that. It's literally, write this down, it's literally just get in the room. The room where our people are doing what you want to do, are hanging out. Whether there's an event, a gym, an office, a dinner table, doesn't matter. Get in it, get to it, get with it, right? Physically, if you're able to, but virtually can also work. But try to be there in person. I'm not a big fan of the virtual stuff, because I found something magical happens when, one spiritual person gets in a room with another spiritual person, and their God comes along with them, and this magic happens with that connectivity. Yeah, it's so much better in person. And I've done this in every area of my life where I wanted to get somewhere fast. And every time, for me, it's work. As a business owner, as a faith-driven husband, as a fighter even in my previous life, right? And even as an RC plane hobbyist. And man, I went to the extreme on that one. I fly remote control jets at like the legal limit of 199.9 miles an hour. That's the legal limit. Wink, wink, nod, nod. And now I'm getting my pilot's license back, even though they told me I would never fly again. So actually, let me be completely transparent to you. The reason that I'm standing here and you're watching this and I'm delivering this message today as CEO of Home Invest is exactly because of today's lesson. Today, I'm talking about the exact thing that got me to this point. I wanted to get into multifamily real estate because especially for me, because of the tax benefits. I had a situation that I didn't want to pay a bunch of taxes. So what I do, very straightforward. I look for the best. Home Invest was the best. It really was. And I know many of you that are trying to get into real estate have searched all over the internet, and you see all these gurus that are telling you to do this, telling you to do that, and not actually doing it. I'm here to tell you, at Home Invest, we have an academy, but every day I'm actually working on a real estate transaction. So we continue to transact as we teach what we're transacting. So I look for the best. Home Invest was it. I signed up for everything they had. Here's the big thing as a successful businessman. I had to drop my ego and become a student again. Today, as a result, I own a portfolio of multifamily properties all over the country. All over the country. Why? Because I got in the room with the people who were doing what I wanted to do. Now, what everybody tells you about the room is that getting in costs you two things. One, big, for me, success, was to get rid of my ego. You have to be willing to be the least experienced person in the room. And I remember in my first class, and I was looking around the room, and people were paying money to be educated, but they spent their time telling everyone about all these wonderful, great things they did. Think about that. They wasted time talking instead of listening. I never really figured that out. If I go to someone that's better than me at what I'm trying to accomplish, I listen to what they tell me and take as much stock as I can. Second thing is inconvenience. You have to change your schedule, right? You have to pay for the ticket and show up. Most people are not willing to pay either cost. Like I was saying, there are people in the room who wouldn't shut up. Other people didn't show up. They kept watching from home and telling them themselves that they were learning. The last part that most people don't think of is that being in the room is also more fun. Like literally being around like-minded people and all of everyone pulling in the same direction, it's so much more fun than doing it on your own. You're around people who get it. They speak your language. They care about the same things you care about. And they cheer for your wins because they've had their own. And you cheer for them because you've had your own. Listen, we wrapped up our Property Success Lab here last week, and while the information we gave attendees is the best in the market, some of the best moments are the ones that happened as we explored Palm Beach. The laughs, the smiles, and seeing the turtles, those of you that were here, it was an amazing sight to watch some of us, our students, see the turtles and see the pictures. Listen, the isolated path is slower and it's lonelier. The room is faster and full of more excitement. I remember even between like we were doing lessons, like the interaction with people and talking to people and hearing about their experiences and the biggest part of it for me is hearing about their whys, why they're doing it, what motivates them. So let me ask you this. What rooms are you getting into in the rest of 2026? The fastest way to achieve any outcome is to get into that room, the one that you need. And listen, Scripture tells us in Proverbs 27:17, as iron sharpens iron, so does one person sharpen another. So take the shortcut that nobody is talking about. It's not a hack or a system. It's just proximity. And listen, one of the things I want you to ask yourself is, do you want to be in proximity to this? What is this? What are you looking at? We've come up with a solution, a plan to help in Colombia, where so many people's houses were destroyed. We've come up with a plan to deploy these type houses as disaster recovery type housing. People are literally sleeping out under the trees with no shelter, no nothing. These are a quick and inexpensive way for us to shelter people from the elements. And we've got as part of our current platform, people who invest a certain dollar amount into our newest program or into our newest deal, we will donate a house. Let me say that one more time. People who invest into our current program at a certain dollar level, we will donate a house in Colombia. We're already motivated to help there. You getting involved in our in our current project not only gives you the tax benefits that are through the roof, but it also donates a house to a needy family in Colombia. We're building tiny homes to help protect these people from the elements. It's brutal down there right now, but it's close to our hearts. As my partner's wife is from Colombia, and their parents are from Colombia, and for us to be able to help there is an absolute honor. So again, we have a property that we're involved in right now. We're raising capital for. If you invest, you can get up to 100% of your basis back as a depreciation loss on your K1. It means you can write it off your taxes. And in addition, it's allowing us to go down there and build houses for the people in need. So ask yourself one question this week. What room do you have to be in? Then get in it. If you want to be in a room with people like us that are having a positive impact in the world by helping people not pay taxes and helping them make some profits, then come join us. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you, Chris. Chris, you got time for a couple questions?
For you, Nate, always. You can ask until I fall over, my friend.
All right, guys, this is your invitation to ask Chris a question. Go ahead and write it in the chat section. I'll keep your name anonymous. I'll just read the question out loud to Chris, but this is your chance to put your question in the chat. Chris, you got a lot of people that are saying that they're praying for your strength.
Thank you.
Someone else saying they're praying for fast recovery. Get well soon, Chris.
Thank you.
And then You got another person saying that they love the Columbia project. Love, 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 to be exact.
Oh, thank you very kindly.
All right. First question. Everyone else in the community seems to be moving fast. Why do you think I'm struggling to get the same momentum that others are?
Oh, that's a very difficult question. One of the biggest things that I have found that people need to overcome is their fear of talking to brokers, their fear of people saying, yes, yes, let's do this deal. Because they get to that point and then it's like, oh my gosh, what do I do now? So I have found that we tend to hold ourselves back. And I struggled with this too, right? I remember when I was homeless, there was no way I was ever going to have $1,000 in the bank. And then once I got $1,000 in the bank, there was no way I would ever have $10,000 in the bank. And then no way 100,000. But once I got over that fear and started saying, why not me? If that guy can do it, why not me? Why can't I do what they're doing? Why can't I be worth that? Once that mindset changed, it's like dominoes just fell. Boom, 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 boom. And God has continued to bless me and give me the strength and put the right people in my path to help me and give me the confidence I needed to take that next step forward. So if you're struggling with that, I ask you to pray. And I ask you to pray to God to give you some strength and some courage and give you the strength to push forward. You'd be amazed at what it does when you feel like God is behind you.
What do you suggest for me without needing any money to initially invest in real estate? I've got 200 grand equity in my home and I have time.
Say that one more time. I didn't. Let me
So
turn the volume up. I'm sorry.
yeah,
Go
you're
ahead.
good. So this person's saying, "Hey, I've got 200 grand equity in my house. What do you suggest that I do without having to invest any money into a deal, but to get into deals right now?"
So I don't understand if you don't want to invest any money, but you brought up the fact that you have 200K. If you could liquidate that 200K in equity to a refi at a reasonable rate, right? Do a cash out refi, then take that money. So let's say when you cash out refi, you're going to pay 7% on the money. But when you do that, you put it into a deal that's making 18 to 22 or even 25%. The deal we're currently working on right now, it just happens to be a rare deal. It doesn't happen all the time. Don't get me wrong. These are not the numbers we perform every time. Usually we hit between 18 and 22%. This deal is making so much that we're capping at 25%. So if you can get your money at 7 and then get 25%, up to 25% returns on the IRR, doesn't that 15, 18% spread make sense? That's what I would do. I would literally refi, take that money, invest it in somewhere that's going to make me more money, and then do what the richest man in Babylon does: use that money to buy another asset that creates more income, and then that money use it to create. And then next thing you know, as you get down the road 10 years from now, you've got generational wealth.
And they sent in another statement saying that they're on disability, so they can't possibly tap the equity. And I would just say, check out Angel Oaks. Angel
Yes.
Oaks, they're a lending fund. Your next question is, these brokers, I'm struggling to get a broker to pick up the phone. How do I get these brokers to pick up the phone?
Oh yeah, this is gonna sound terrible. This is gonna sound terrible, but it's technically not a lie. Okay, so follow. This is how I get a new broker. Um, this is one of the tricks that I use, and it's technically not a lie, but you've got to be very careful the way you word it. Ring, ring, ring. Hi, you've reached Steve, the broker at large, and I'm too busy to talk to you right now because you're a lowly carpetbagger. But if you leave a message, I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Hey, Steven, I'm so sorry. I can't remember the last time we talked. I was going through and I saw your number and I just feel like I had to give you a call. Give me a call back. This is Chris at 321 blah, 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 blah. And I almost said my cell phone number. But man, give me a call. I'd love to catch up. And now he gets that message and says, who the heck is Chris? And what? How do I know this guy? And they almost always call back. And when they say, "Do I know you?" I'm like, "No, man." But like, I feel like that just from your listings that we should get to know each other. Blah 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 blah. Right? But that's one of the tricks that I use to get people to call me back.
Chris, your next one, you got a lot of people, by the way, more people that are praying for you. You
Thank
got
you.
another person saying, thank you for showing up, praying for a speedy recovery. Then your next one is Chris, I was smiling when I found 936 units in Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Nice.
I thought, God is up to something here. It's too new for you guys, but just had a good feeling submitting an LOI for what it's worth. Okay. Nice. Next one. And Chris, I'll let you end on this one after however you want. But the question is, how do you handle an agent that wants you to sign an NDA, but they want a buyer agreement for an off-market sale?
Yeah, what's wrong with that? I have no issue with that. You would have to negotiate the terms of the buyer's agreement. They just want to make sure they get paid, is all. And generally, the way we structure our buyer agreements, if they won't release their seller agreements, and the buyer agreement is with them only. We cap their total compensation. So, like, if they're getting 1% from the seller, they're not going to get 3% from us, type thing. So we always cap it based on that type of transaction. But you know what? Sometimes you got to pay for these deals. You know, we did a deal. Was it Morgan Terrace that we paid the? No, Barksdale. We literally paid a broker like $100,000. I mean, a wholesaler $100,000 for that deal. But even with his $100,000 fee, the finances work. Like, the numbers work. So as long as the numbers work with that fee, who cares? You got to do what you got to do sometimes. Sometimes these wholesalers and these brokers are like lawyers. They're a necessary evil. You don't have to like it, but you have to pay them. It just is what it is. And listen, I come to know as we go through these experiences that God, when He's ready to do something, man, He's just ready to do it. And there's nothing stopping it once He makes that decision. So my suggestion to you is to get on your knees in the morning. This is what I do. And ask God for what His will for you is today. And that if you hear it and you know it, I beg you to follow it. Because one thing I've come to know is that God graces me with and blesses me with so many things as a result of following His will. And when I say things, I don't mean secular things. I mean internal things. Faith and strength and courage and calm and joy and peace and love and all of those things as a result of following His will. And if God will do that for me, I know He'll do it for you, because He doesn't love me any more than He loves you, and He doesn't love you any more than He loves me. Seek God's will for your life. Carry it out to the best of your ability, and I promise you'll have an amazing life. God bless y'all. Thank you all for being here.